Well, hey y'all, Little Horse Creek Adventures down here on the farm today. We're going to do a little bit of experimenting with a new cook pot. Earlier this week we run down to Statesboro, Georgia, down to Agri Supply, got us a Carolina cooker, 14 quart cauldron, stew pot, and we need to try it out before we really do the real deal and do a stew or chili or something like that in it. So figured I would try to do some turnips, boil some turnips. I need to pick some turnips out of the turnip patch down there anyway, and I was gonna, my original plan was just to boil water, just get me a good fire started and see what it'd take, how close I needed to get to the coals to get a good rolling boil. Then I got to thinking, well shoot, might as well use the boiling water for something. So I'm gonna start getting the fire, the coals right, and we're gonna light it up and let it go while I get the turnips picked. Greens, we're gonna do greens. The roots, they ain't that big yet, but as my brother Mike Brodica would say, got a little teepee going on in the fire pit over here, got some fat lighted up underneath it, and we're gonna light it up and let the coals start trying to burn down. A little breezier than I'd like for it to be out here for a fire, but figured we'd go on ahead and give it a try. The pot ain't got nothing in it yet, but it's gonna take a while to get them coals cooked down, but we'll pick back up in a little bit. Well, we come on down here to the turnip patch, but I want to show you this right here. This is our okra. Last night was our first frost, and it flat blistered the okra. I mean, it burned it back. The blooms that was still on the plant, it got it. I mean, it was a good frost last night. But of course the frost don't hurt the turnips, it actually helps the turnips. We got a few collards planted over here, but there's our turnip patch, and I'm gonna pick some leaves and try to get about a 10 quart bucket full of leaves. Just gonna kind of nip them off here and there. It won't take long to get a good mess. I don't want to pick one of the collards because we got a few collards kind of mixed in with the turnips. Get some of the smaller, tender leaves down inside. Them big leaves, they good too. And you can tell that there's plenty of water in the plants, because as I'm nipping them off, there's a bunch of water on my hand. Ooh, I keep reaching for that collard. I got to get away from that collard. I'm going to be picking that collard. We ain't going to get a whole bunch, but we're gonna get enough cooked down and try out that new pot. I think this bucket kind of packed down good will be a gracious plenty for what we're trying to do. Them little leaves are so pretty. A lot of folks row turnips, and that's a good way of doing it, but I just sow them. You got to be careful. As you can see, it's easy to sow a bunch quick. Those seeds are so small that ain't nothing wrong with either way. The key is getting them in the ground at the right time. And enjoying them when they're coming off. Alright, I'm going to fill up my bucket, and we'll pick back up in a little bit, rinsing off the turnip leaves. Okay, we over here at the picnic table. We going to kind of run through this the way we normally do it. We're going to do a triple rinse method. The bucket I picked them in, I drew water in it to get the first rinsing. Then got two other buckets here, drew water in them. Got the leaves soaking in this one bucket. We're going to slosh them around in there a little bit. Then we're going to move over to the other bucket and kind of strip the bigger veins out. And then, of course, the bigger veins we just going to chunk in the scrap bucket over there. And then we're going to put the good pieces back over in the Batman picking bucket. And they'll be ready. I done kind of sloshed them around a little bit on the first rinse. I'm going to slosh them around a little bit more in here. And a lot of folks got their own methods, and it's fine. This is just kind of the way we do it. I like doing it outside. Because anytime I get around a good bit of water, it's usually going to be a mess. Kind of look at the leaves, take the bigger veins out. The reason we do that, and now if you eat many greens, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Them bigger veins, that's the parts that usually are the toughest, especially when you get turnips or collards out of the frozen section at the grocery store. And normally the folks at the companies that make the froze packages of turnips and collards, they end up chopping them, the veins and all, and that's fine. But kind of like deboning fish, kind of like filleting fish. Try to get some of the aggravation out. So the end result is more palatable and enjoyable. But we kind of go through them just like this, leaf by leaf. Kind of takes a while, but you want to get that sand off, and you want to get them whatever aphids might be on them. Kind of check them one by one. These really aren't bad. They pretty clean to start with, because the patch is new. You know, that's the first picking we had out of our patch. Now we picked some greens up at Hope and Ben's, some tender greens. That one didn't quite do the way I wanted it to do. But I never had no tender greens that I know of. I'm probably gonna try some next year. There wasn't no root to them at all. It wasn't like a turnip. We just kind of go through them one by one, just like what I'm doing right here, till we get to the end. And I checked the fire a couple times off camera, see how it was doing. I kind of put a few more oak logs on it, help build us up some coals. But we'll pick back up in a little bit. Okay, we got the turnips washed, and we're getting ready to set the pot on the fire. We got the turnips there in the Batman bucket. Got me a bucket of water drawn back there. We got our black pepper, our Morton salt, our Lowry's seasoned salt. Got some bacon grease and a couple utensils. I'm probably gonna have to stoke the fire a little bit more, because it's burning down nicely, but there ain't a whole lot of coals in there. But here we go. We're gonna start trying to get it on the fire. Now with that big old cauldron, when it's all said and done, assuming all this is going to turn out well, which I got high hopes it will, everybody's going to say, dang, them turnips got lost down there in that pot. Because that's a big old pot, and them turnips typically cook way down. Oh, the turnips down in there. more water. Probably got enough water, but I'm gonna add a little bit. I'm gonna add some salt. Now, normally I take and pour it out in my hand so I can kind of see how much I got. Salt, especially, is something hard to, you can't get it back out once you put it in. Give us a little bit of pepper action going on there. Seasoned salt. I like seasoned salt just about on anything savory. I ain't putting a whole lot because whatever seasoning we lacking we can add at the table. But now for the trick. Bacon grease. You gotta go with the bacon grease. Or bacon itself. We got some bacon in the fridge, but I ain't gonna open a fresh container of poke meat just for a few pieces. So we're gonna use bacon grease. All kind of punch down in there a little bit. Get me a leaf and kind of wipe off my spoon. Once that water gets hot, I can stick that spoon back in there and it'll peel that grease right off. But everything's still cold. I ain't had nothing over the fire yet, so I can actually handle it with my hands. But a little bit, I'm gonna have to use my gloves. I'll go ahead and use my gloves to kind of lift the pot up over the edge of the fire pit. Get it on over the fire pit just so. It's heating up. It'll take a little bit, but I got high hopes. I think we'll get there. But we got some coals up underneath there. It'll take them turnips a while to cook down. This ain't gonna be no rush project, that's for sure. But we got the inaugural cooking started for the new pot from Agri Supply, the Carolina cooker pot. We'll let that go and we'll pick back up in a little bit. Okay, it's been about 25 minutes more or less. And that looks like we already got steam coming out the top of the pot. Let's take a look at them. Make sure that they cooking down good. We got to be really careful because all that cast iron, everything gonna be scaldy hot. Put on the, oh my goodness, look at him. Oh, with all the steam. I don't know whether you're gonna be able to see it boiling real good or not, but we got a good rolling boil going in there. I mean, that's looking good. Yep. Oh yeah, and we got plenty of water. Of course, we kind of figured that once they was going to start cooking down. But that right there looks pretty doggone good. We'll put that lid back on, ease it back over the fire. Just like so. We're going to let it roll a while longer, and then we're going to try to adjust the fire so we can get it on a simmer. But that right there, yeah, no more coals than we got. We got a good rolling boil in less than 30 minutes with a big old pot. I'm liking it. All right, we're gonna pick back up in a little bit. Okay, y'all, it's been well over 2 hours boiling. I think the greens are plenty done. We got the coals. The coals are beautiful. I mean, if you was gonna do some hot dogs or anything like that, that there, or s'mores, oh my gosh, it's just about right there. But we're gonna pull the greens. We think they pretty well done. So I'm gonna set the lid off, and Tina's gonna dip them out. I'm gonna swing away from the fire to the edge of the pit. You reckon I ought to go on ahead and set them out of the pit, or is that all right?
That's all right, I guess.
I think the cauldron did pretty good. We'll have to taste them and see how the taste is. But I think we did just fine with cooking them down. Originally I was going to just boil some water to try out the pot over the fire pit, but cooking down some turnip greens I think was a good project. Alright, maybe get a little bit of juice out of there. They sure smell good. That's good.
That's probably good.
Okay. Don't know whether you can see that or not, but they looking good. They cook down good. And put the lid back on for overnight. And go ahead and spin it completely off the fire. Pope's old stew pot rig done a fine job this evening. The pipe and the crossbar, ain't no telling how old it is. It's probably 100 years old or more, and it's still cooking. And that was the first cooking in that new pot for Little Horse Creek Adventures. And we'll have to taste them and see how they are. But they sure cook good. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get them cool enough to taste a little bit. That's pretty good. I think it'll pass muster. That right there is all right. Well, thank y'all for watching. Hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did putting it together. And not sure what the next video will be, but y'all take care. Thanks again. Bye-bye.